When I said yes to my best friend, I had no idea what I was agreeing to. At the time, I was half asleep and entirely unprepared for what came next. All I wanted that weekend was peace with no work, no emails, no socializing. I'd planned to stay home, binge TV, and maybe remember what silence felt like. But my best friend Jonah had other plans. Jonah is the kind of guy who can make "help me out for a bit" sound harmless, like you're agreeing to pass him a wrench or hold a ladder. So when he called and said, "Hey man, can you do me a favor this Saturday?" I mumbled, "Sure," still not awake. That single word turned my relaxing weekend into the most chaotic 48 hours of my life. The obstacle? Jonah's favor wasn't a small one. It was something that could threaten my dignity, my sanity, and possibly my physical safety. And by the time I realized it, I was already too committed to back out. I thought I was agreeing to help Jonah move some boxes. What I actually agreed to was to be his partner in a charity couples dance competition. Jonah's girlfriend Lisa had signed them up to raise money for a local animal shelter. Cute idea. Unfortunately, they broke up 2 days before the event. The registration was non-refundable, and Jonah didn't want to look like a quitter. So naturally, he called me. When I arrived at the community center Saturday morning, I realized what was happening too late. There were banners reading "Dance for the Paws," and a crowd of people stretching in coordinated outfits. "Wait," I said, stopping dead. "Dance?" He grinned. "You said yes." I looked around. There were sequins, glitter, and even a judge's table. Someone was stretching their hamstrings like a professional gymnast. "Jonah," I said carefully, "I thought you needed help moving boxes." "Yeah," he said, tossing me a sweatband. "Our bodies are the boxes. Now move it." The stakes were clear. If I bailed, he'd be disqualified and publicly embarrassed. If I stayed, I'd have to dance in front of an audience in matching shirts and possibly go noticed for all the wrong reasons. Somehow, humiliation felt worse than guilt, so I stayed. The warm-up was chaos. Jonah tried teaching me the routine Lisa had made. It involved spins, dips, and something that looked suspiciously like a lift. I tripped 3 times before we even started the music. "This isn't working," I said. "It's easy," Jonah said, snapping his fingers to the beat. "Just follow my lead." That was the problem. Roadkill had more rhythm than Jonah. When our turn came, I told myself that I just needed to survive 90 seconds. The song started, and we went for it. Halfway through, Jonah twirled the wrong direction and nearly clotheslined me. I stumbled, tried to recover, and accidentally performed what could only be described as interpretive panic. People started cheering, not because we were good, but because we were clearly trying hard. Then came the lift. Jonah shouted, "Now!" and crouched slightly. "Now what?" I yelled, but he was already grabbing my waist. In one horrifying second, I was slightly airborne before gravity remembered I existed. We crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. I opened one eye. "We're alive?" Jonah groaned. "Mostly." Then the MC, trying to stay positive, said, "Now that's commitment," and the crowd burst into applause. We limped off stage to a standing ovation, the kind reserved for people who barely survived disasters. We didn't win, obviously. The trophy went to a retired couple who could salsa like professionals, but we did raise a record amount in donations, mostly because people kept saying that fall alone was worth $20. By the end of the day, Jonah and I were sore, humiliated, and strangely proud. Our clip made it onto local news where the anchor called us the unexpected heroes of the day. Since then, I've learned a valuable lesson. Never say yes to Jonah without follow-up questions. Now, every time he texts, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" I reply, "Define favor."